I went camping with 4 of my closest friends to celebrate our high school graduation. There were 5 of us, but somehow we kept counting 6. It started with flashes in the sky, soft streaks of red light that we joked about, laughing as we pitched our tents in the clearing. The forest seemed peaceful, the perfect getaway from everything. Dave, the fastest among us, was already gathering firewood while Eric struggled with his tent instructions, muttering under his breath. Ava and Sally worked together, chatting about old memories. The sun disappeared quickly, and the woods became dark and silent. Dave returned with the branches, dumping them in the fire pit. We set up our chairs and settled in, but unease crept in with the night. There were 5 chairs, 1 for each of us, but when I looked around, they were all occupied, even though Dave hadn't sat down yet. The thought was like static in my brain, impossible to hold on to. No matter how hard I tried to focus, my head felt heavy, like something was stopping me from thinking. I glanced at Dave, who was arranging the wood in the pit. His shoulders tensed, and for a moment, I thought he felt it too. We lit the fire and tried to shake off the strange feeling. Sally suggested we might just be tired from the long hike, and Ava handed out drinks. It felt normal again for a while. The fire crackled, and we laughed over shared stories, but something gnawed at me. "Who started the fire?" I asked out loud, interrupting Ava mid-sentence. Everyone stared at me, their faces blank and pale in the firelight. No one had an answer. We all thought someone else had done it. Sally pointed towards me. "The person behind Jenny did it." My stomach twisted. I turned so fast my vision blurred, but there was nothing behind me, just darkness. Sally blinked, her expression shifting to confusion and fear. "Wait, I don't know." Her voice trailed off as she began to shake, tears streaming down her face. Ava tried to calm her, but the tension had spread. No one felt safe anymore. We agreed to move the tents closer together, arranging them in a tight U-shape around the fire pit. Eric, always the outsider, insisted he'd be fine in his own tent. I think we all regretted letting him stay alone, but no one said it. That night, I woke to a scream. Dave and I rushed out to find Ava and Sally standing frozen near Eric's tent. His sleeping bag was twisted, soaked with blood, and his face was locked in a mask of agony. "Run," Dave said, grabbing his flashlight. We sprinted down the trail, the oppressive darkness swallowing the trees around us. Ava tripped, twisting her ankle. Before we could help, something dragged her into the woods. Her screams echoed briefly before silence fell. Sally bolted after her. I wanted to follow, but Dave grabbed my arm. "Keep running," he urged, pushing me forward. The 2 of us ran, but I realized with a sinking dread that someone was behind us. I glanced back, but all I saw was darkness. My legs burned as I tried to keep pace with Dave. Suddenly, he stopped. He handed me the car keys. "Go," he said, his voice trembling. Then he turned, facing whatever had been following us. I didn't argue. I ran. By the time I reached the parking lot, the sun was beginning to rise. I jumped into the car and sped off, the forest disappearing in the rearview mirror. I kept driving until I found a rest stop, where I finally pulled over to catch my breath and call for help. But now, sitting here, I realize something is wrong. My car is empty except for me, or so I thought. The person in my backseat hasn't moved or made a sound.